This Metal Gear video will get you some exclusive information directly from the producer of Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. That's a long name, guys. We're going to have to shorten that up, MGS Delta, for the future. But he had some really good information that I'm actually super excited about. Something I've talked about with a lot of people, different things that confirmed now because he went on to the Xbox podcast and had a quick interview. A lot of the conversation that he had was things I pretty much speculated or confirmed through the gameplay and all the information that has been out. But he did add a couple of new sprinkles that we're going to dive into. So lock in. Before we do, just a heads up, you can go ahead and win a copy of MGS Delta. All you got to do is subscribe and comment. We will be keeping track of all the comments and we will pick one of the videos comments and give you a copy of the game the day before it releases. But we might have even more than just one copy to give away. So lock in right here to this channel. With all that out of the way, let's get into this interview. As you're going to see, shout out to the Xbox podcast for doing it. We're going to run through some of the information he's confirmed and expressed, and some of the stuff we already talked about because I've been, analyzing everything as possible. They asked him about the Delta meaning and what does that stand for? And he explained that in Greek, it actually stands for change, not different, but more. So you're basically adding value to something and improving it. And that's what the meaning of it is. And so that's why we have the Metal Gear Solid Delta as the core. So I love that. Then he also has more details about some of the designs. He explains that the more realistic forest, the more realistic animals, all of that is to immerse the player in a way that's not just about visuals, but survival. So interesting to see. Hopefully they give out more details or we see it in some gameplay. They didn't put out any new footage in this interview, so they just used, the trailer that we had. But he did talk about the injury system / wound system that they have. They wanted to emphasize on that a lot more because this is the survival aspect of the game. And he basically kind of pointed to big improvements visually, but also with the mechanics. And of course, they didn't get into too many details. And, sometimes these interviews, guys, you got to be careful what you say because things are still in development. And I actually have some stuff that he talks about with the release date. No, there's no confirmation just yet, but we'll get into that in a minute about the things he did express. All right. Then he says that the voice actors' lines, this was a big deal for a lot of us, right? They're coming back. The originals are there. We love them. And they're the greatest, in my opinion, the greatest cast that we've ever had in gaming. But he said that new lines specifically only for the controls. So he basically brought back the main actors who did the original. And now that there's new controls, that they wanted to record that part of it. He didn't confirm that they did new extra lines for the story or the campaign or anything of that nature. But he basically just confirmed that we can definitely, and I've already talked about this on social media, that it's speculation that they're back and they have new stuff. But this says that, they're working with those actors and they're trying to improve the game. But that was one feature that they did call them back for. So confirmed there. And another thing about audio, he said that the original audio at the time of the game's making had to be compressed. And so now they uncompressed it and they allowing for a better audio, better sound overall. So it's going to be highly improved and it's not going to be as compressed as the original. On top of that, that you can go from 2 channels to 7.1 audio. And I think that's huge for somebody who plays in surround sound most of the time. Really love that. I feel like it's great to say the least. And so for me, super exciting, super cool, and necessary. And then now we're going to jump into something that's actually one of the main things that we had a conversation about, that talked about a lot, whether it's on the channel or social media. Excuse me, modern controls, modern gameplay, modern visuals, right? That's what this remake is about. And they talked about the camera, and he explained that, yes, something that we confirmed from the last video, that the legacy style camera is going to be the overhead original. We love that. We seen that, and we thought, hey, that is perfect, because that's exactly what, personally, me, I love for the original. But I also do play third person games, and so at the same time, I'm happy with the modern controls. So I'm probably going to be playing modern controls on the first playthrough, and then I can do a replay with the classic. And what's cool about this conversation, he's kind of hinted at this. And remember, this was translated through the Xbox podcast. They had a translator. So the next part I'm about to say, we have to be careful about. But there's been a lot of conversations about the yellowish, orangey, older look, retro look to the games, and not having that, which is very much true for the new game. But he said that there's specifically a visual filter, and these are the words from the translator. Okay, if you want to watch the Xbox podcast, feel free. If this is true, then everybody can be quiet about having the yellowish look. I personally said it should be an option in the menu, and so I'm glad that they are confirming it, but we got to see if the translation was correct. I want to be careful here, because translations sometimes mistake things, and I don't want to put out false information. All right. Now he moves on to character models improvements. He talks about how they really wanted to enhance the character models in every way. And then one of the biggest things he discusses is the facial expressions. And for me, this is so critical. In my opinion, you know, you want to have the best experience possible, right? And that's going to be huge. There's moments in this game, which I won't spoil if you're new to the series, where I cried multiple times. And hey, I'm a grown man. I can say it. And it's just a powerful story, one of the most powerful stories in the series, and very touching moments. And I cannot wait to see this new iteration with the facial improvements, expressions specifically. He said the facial expressions will be improved. Okay. And then last but not least, and this is one that might be a downer for you guys, myself included, but I actually like the fact that they're not rushing. So he was asked about the release date, and we don't have a confirmation, and they said they're working on it still. No official date. And so in my opinion, this is good. Okay, when games studios feel pressure and they put out a release date to kind of feed the crowd, it can really hinder development, because now people are just rushing it. Let's get the game out. Come on. And instead of baking whatever you're cooking and making sure that it's done right, they'll put it out fast. So I am happy with 2025. Well, I'm not happy. I mean, I prefer to come out tonight, right? Like, let me play. But if they're going to master it and make it as great as the original, I mean, I am not expecting a perfect 10 for a remake. I'm happy with a solid 8 or 9. If it can surpass that and have no bugs and no issues because they delayed it until 2024 or 2025 or later, I'm okay with that. I don't think it's going to pass 2025. The way Konami's marketing team works, they're so good with making sure they promote it within a small window of 3 months or so. So it's still possible to release this year. I just think that I'm going to try to ease us up here and not rush that. So what do you think? I mean, maybe I'm a little bit reaching. And, I'm always reaching as far as Metal Gear goes. So you can judge me all you want, folks. But that's kind of the news and information when it comes to what the producer said. It wasn't some revolutionary, oh my God, I can't believe it. The biggest one for me was the filter that you're watching the comparison video I did before. You can check that out. But I was discussing this because I'm going to play without the filter to start because this is a new game. It's a remake. And then later, after like my 100th playthrough, I'll probably do the filter in one of those playthroughs. But in the beginning, I'm okay with just experiencing the game the way the new modern version is. And so that's kind of how I'm going to go into it. Let me know what you're going to do. Are you going to play with all the old schools from the start? Or are you going to try out the new mechanics and new elements that they have with the camera and all the filters and all the different things? Let me know in the comments. With that being said, make sure you leave a comment if you want to get a free copy of this game. I'm looking to probably do multiple and maybe do one a month, but we got to get this channel pumping, and you got to share this video out in all the places you can to get us recognized. And then from there, I can do multiple giveaways for this channel for you guys as we go forward. But yeah, I'm super excited. I cannot even begin to tell you guys how cool this is going to be once they officially drop it. So go ahead and check out my comparison video, which it should be popping up on screen right now, or check out my big breakdown there. And I do have some special ones, so that might be on the screen. Look at that. And I'll see you on that next one. Take care, guys.